Hi, I'm Jacqueline Pulido. People say that no one experiments on someone else's head. I disagree. That's why I want to share with you the story of my life. Not only for you to know it, but also to serve you and make you aware that everything can change in a minute. How many of you or how many people do you know who have experienced death? Relax, don't be scared. This is not going to be a horror story. On the contrary, it will be a love story. In 1965, my parents Jorge and Ana got married, and from that union, 3 wonderful children were born: my brother Pedro, my sister Elizabeth, and me. It was on October 20th, 1972, when I came into this world. I was 4 years old when my parents' marriage dissolved, and my siblings and I stayed to live with my father. We were very happy children with a childhood full of love, surrounded by affection and family. This is how time passed between laughter, games, school, friends, until I became a teenager. My world was not pink. It was pretty pink, full of cotton candy, candies, vanilla ice cream. I drew a lot. It was always my passion. I listened to music, played, sang, and danced in front of the mirror. Without realizing it, I arrived at the university. There, I studied graphic design, the career of my dreams. Blessed place that made me so happy and taught me so much. I met so many wonderful people, and yes, there I met the person with whom I would share the rest of my life. It was on January 13th, 1992, when I saw him for the first time. On February 20th of the same year, I was introduced to him and discovered that his name was Julio. On March 20th, he asked me to be his girlfriend, and on March 20th, 1999, 7 years later, I married him. My marriage at the beginning was full of learning and adjustments. Little by little, everything began to change. I must confess that sometime later we separated, but we returned to live together, although something was missing. Jacqueline Pulido, always immersed in DYPM, which was not my design office. It was my refuge. My pride, my sacrifice, my son, my love. It was life itself. I embraced this feeling for 15 years, having 1,000 job satisfactions, many recognitions, ego to the top, and family neglect. My life became only to work, only to produce, only to win accounts, only to make everything perfect, leaving behind the most important things without realizing it. In the blink of an eye, 2016 came, the strangest year, the most difficult, the year with the most changes, and the saddest year I have ever had in my life. I moved away from God. I moved away from my family. I moved away from Julio. I was surrounded by people who were not sincere with me, who only stole my light, or better said, to whom I gave my light. It was the year in which I made the worst decisions of my life, and today that I remember them. Not only I do not understand them, but I reprove them. The worst month was November, a month I would have never wanted to come. I tried to be strong. I tried to take the situation in the best way. And according to me, I succeeded. My dad taught us to deal with absolutely any circumstance in life. He just forgot to leave us final instructions for when he was far away. I tried to go on with my life with a very big pain, but trying to be strong. In February 2017, I felt something that I had never experienced in my life. I fell into a state they call depression. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to think, much less wanted to work. I took pills to sleep all day to keep me in another reality. But 10 weeks later, I realized that I needed help. I called a psychiatrist who prescribed me medication with which I would feel better in a few weeks. The medicine did not work. On Monday, March 13th, I decided to start working thanks to the help of my brother Pedro. My life had to go on. On Friday, the March 17th, I was in my office when I felt sick and convulsed. I was taken to the hospital emergency room, and that was when, after a second convulsion, I stopped breathing for 7 minutes due to a pulmonary thrombosis that was not explained and is not explained until now, which caused my heart to stop beating for a first time for a period of 5 minutes. The doctors resuscitated me manually while intubating me. However, the second cardiac arrest came, and this time it lasted 3 minutes. It was 15 minutes that summarized my death. After the successful resuscitation, it was from there that I fell into a deep sleep from which I would not wake up. The 9 specialists who attended me, who did not even have a 1% chance of survival, summoned my family to say goodbye to me and asked for a priest to give me the holy oils since I would not spend the night. Miraculously, and in spite of the doctor's prognosis, I managed to wake up alive on Saturday, March 18th. Critical, unconscious, but alive. The hematologist opted to give me some anticoagulants, which made my blood come out of my body, and at the same time they requested blood and platelet donations. Soon my body was transformed into a swaying of blood. The days passed with great grief, without hope, but with great faith in God, with great faith that I would not become a quadriplegic, that I would not remain a vegetable, that I would not be left without memories, paralyzed in half of my body, or without feelings. Miraculously, on March 27th, I woke up. I was hallucinating. I saw people talking to me. I saw objects that did not exist. I could not understand what was happening. A few days later, I began to become conscious when I heard the voices of my brothers, to feel their presence. It was when everything began to make sense. And that's when I realized that I could not see. None of that mattered when I felt a warm hand take my hand, and I felt someone come up to my face, give me a kiss on the cheek and tell me, "Here I am." I felt a lot of emotion, but at the same time I had a lot of guilt to say. Don't stay out of pity with someone who can't see. And at that moment, the answer I heard was, "Who are you to decide for me? Who are you to decide for me? What do you know what I want?" If I stay, it is because I have decided, and I want you to know something. If you see again, it will be wonderful. But if you don't see again, we will both learn to read Braille. And then, and only then, I will understand the reason of everything. Not only did I have in front of me the person I had been looking for so long, but he was not only a prince, a king, he was my husband who became my superhero. It is there where I understood everything, where I understood that God does not make mistakes. He does not abandon us. He takes care of us. He loves us, and if at any moment you experience a blow, failure, loss, pain, sickness, I want you to be sure that He always has hidden blessings for you. In mid-April, I returned home walking, remembering, feeling, perceiving, listening, living. The following months have not been easy, but not difficult either. One or another bump on the head. Many songs, many calls, visits, plans, and projects. Of course, I miss designing. Many tears, a lot of uncertainty. Sometimes anger, sometimes acceptance. Sometimes a lot of faith, sometimes not so much. But my life is still surrounded by valuable people. Healthy people. People who love me and encourage me to continue. How can I thank God for so many blessings? How to thank all this experience I went through? How to explain to you the life lesson I have? The only thing I could think of was to start testifying that miracles do exist. I want to reach out to all of you to tell you to never stop believing, that God is the one who uniquely manages and operates our life. Thanks to you for taking the time to listen to me, to know my story. I am sure that if you clicked on this video, it is for something. Something you had to hear, no matter what. And if my story is helping you, my mission is being fulfilled.